Before we jump in, quick favor. If you enjoy storytime videos like this, subscribing helps the channel a lot. It's free, it takes 1 second, and it keeps these uploads coming. Thanks. Now let's get into it. Hey Reddit. I'm 28, born and raised in a small Midwestern town. I've sat on this story for a while because it still feels embarrassing, even though I know I didn't do anything wrong. This is about my ex, Amelia, and a coworker who basically crawled into our relationship and slowly poisoned it. Amelia and I met in high school, sophomore year. She was never loud, not the look-at-me type. She was quiet, almost shy, until you got her talking. Then she'd light up like a whole world was trying to spill out of her at once. She had goals, big ones. She talked about publishing, moving to a city, living around books, maybe writing someday. I didn't have that kind of clear vision. I wasn't a loser or anything, but I wasn't chasing prestige either. What I was good at was fixing things. Shop class, broken tool. Teacher called me. Friend's sink clogged. I showed up with a wrench. By junior year, I started doing small plumbing jobs for neighbors. It felt natural, and the money was decent. By senior year, I had a real side business, small but growing. Amelia and I became inseparable. Prom together, cheap rom-coms in my parents' basement, late-night talks about the future. She was my first kiss, my first love, and, spoiler, my first heartbreak. When she got accepted into a prestigious university, I was ridiculously proud. I still remember her running to my house, waving the letter like it was a golden ticket. I hugged her so tight she laughed and told me I was crushing her. When she moved away for school, I didn't see it as the end. I saw it as a we're building something chapter. I stayed home and kept growing my plumbing business. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. And I decided if she was chasing her dream, I'd make sure money never slowed her down. So I helped. I covered part of her rent when things were tight, helped with textbooks, sent care packages during finals. I drove hours just to spend a weekend with her. I didn't keep score. I wasn't doing it to control her. I just loved her. But college changed our rhythm. She was busy, classes, internships, networking. Sometimes I'd call, and it felt like I was interrupting her real life. She'd say, "I'm swamped. Can we talk later?" And sometimes later never came. Still, when we were together, it felt normal. Like time didn't pass. That's what kept me holding on. After graduation, Amelia landed a job at a well-known publishing company. Not her dream role yet, but a strong start. I thought, finally, we survived the long-distance part. Now we build. My business was doing better too. I hired 2 guys, bought a second van, started thinking about expanding. Amelia used to tease me. "You're like the CEO of pipes." It was corny, but it felt like love. Then the vibe shifted. Work started taking over her entire identity. She talked about proving herself. She was constantly exhausted. When I'd suggest a break, weekend trip, dinner, anything, she'd say, "You don't understand. This industry is competitive. You have to hustle." I try to understand. And that's around the time she started mentioning a coworker named Liz. At first it was harmless. "Liz is funny. Liz says you're supportive. Liz thinks it's sweet you bring me lunch." Cool. Great. I didn't think much of it. Then the compliments turned into questions. One day Amelia told me Liz said, "You're lucky. A lot of guys feel threatened by an ambitious woman." That sounded like a compliment. But then Amelia added, "Liz also asked if you ever hold money over my head, like if you use it to control me." I laughed because it was ridiculous. I'd never once made Amelia feel like she owed me. But I noticed something. Amelia didn't laugh. She looked like the question stuck. After that, Amelia started insisting on paying for small things, coffee, gas, random little stuff, as if she needed to prove something to herself. I told her it didn't matter, but the dynamic had shifted. Then came the nitpicking. I brought her favorite sushi one afternoon because she said she was skipping lunch. Later she texted, "Thank you. Liz said it's sweet, but kind of weird you didn't ask what I wanted first." I was confused. I literally got the exact order Amelia always gets. But okay. Then after a dinner celebrating her promotion, she said, "Liz thinks you always take control because you picked the restaurant." It was a place Amelia had talked about trying for months. It got worse when Liz started taking shots at my work. I was fixing something in Amelia's apartment when she said, "Liz asked what you do," and when I told her you run a plumbing business, she said, "Oh, That's cute. Cute. Like my whole life's work was a hobby. I built my business from scratch. It paid bills. It helped people. It was honest. But apparently, in Liz's world, anything that doesn't come with a fancy title is cute. Amelia followed it with, Liz asked if you ever wish you did something more polished. Like an office job. That one stung. Amelia tried to brush it off. She's blunt. Don't take it personally. But the problem wasn't just Liz's mouth. It was that Amelia started absorbing it. She began asking me innocent questions that didn't feel innocent. Have you ever thought about taking business classes? Do you want to expand into something bigger? Do you ever feel behind compared to people my age in corporate? On the surface, it sounded supportive. But with Liz in her ear, it felt like an evaluation. Then Liz started inserting herself into our lives more directly. There was a work event where people brought their partners. I couldn't attend because I had an emergency call. One of my longtime clients had a basement flooding. Real situation. Real damage. Amelia went alone. Later she asked me, do you think it'll always be like this? Emergencies? What happens when we have kids? When I asked where that came from, she said, Liz said guys like you always put work first. That's when I finally started to feel it. Not a fight. Not a breakup. Just this slow, creeping feeling that someone was rewriting my relationship from the outside. And I didn't know how close I was to the night it all exploded. For a while I tried to ignore it. I told myself, it's just a coworker. Amelia loves me. We've been together forever. We'll be fine. But Liz was consistent. And consistency is dangerous when you're planting doubts. If Amelia and I disagreed about anything, literally anything, Liz had a professional opinion. If I didn't reply to a text fast enough, red flag. Communication is everything. If I planned a surprise, doesn't it bother you he didn't ask your input? If I helped her move, why didn't he hire movers? That's odd. For helping my girlfriend move into her new apartment? That one actually made me laugh at first. I spent an entire weekend carrying furniture, building shelves, fixing loose handles, patching a door that wouldn't close right. I was sore for 2 days. Amelia thanked me. Then a few hours later she said, Liz thinks it's nice you're handy, but she said it's kind of a lower standard to do all that yourself. A lower standard. That's the language Liz used. Not directly insulting, just classy enough to sound like advice. And the scary part? Amelia started repeating it. She'd say stuff like, Liz thinks we might be too different long-term. Or, Liz says relationships like ours work. Until the woman starts leveling up. Leveling up, as if my worth was a video game rank. I tried talking to Amelia directly. I told her, I don't care what Liz thinks. She doesn't know us. She's not in this relationship. Amelia would promise, you're right. I know. I'm just stressed. But stress doesn't create new thoughts out of thin air. Stress just makes you more likely to believe the worst one someone hands you. Then Amelia started dressing differently for work. Not in a bad way, just noticeably more curated. New shoes, new routines, new networking events that didn't involve me. One night I asked casually, do you even like Liz? She seems intense. Amelia hesitated and said, Liz is harsh, but she's smart. She gets how things work. She says I need to stop settling. The word settling landed like a brick. I said, so I'm settling? She quickly said, no, that's not what I meant. She means like, I need to stop playing small. But the implication was already there. If Amelia is playing small, then what does that make me? Around then, I started thinking about proposing. Not as a save the relationship move. More like clarity. We'd been together since we were kids. We'd survived long distance, career shifts, everything. I thought an engagement would remind her what we were building. Something real, not something Liz could rewrite. So I bought a ring. Nothing ridiculous. Not some massive flex. It was thoughtful. I had it customized with both our birthstones set into a small heart shape in the center, with tiny stones framing it. And I ordered a custom little box with 2 buttons inside. One that lit up yes, and one that lit up no. Cheesy? Absolutely. But it felt like us. I planned the night carefully. A cozy Italian place Amelia once mentioned wanted to try. Reserved a quiet table. Practiced what I'd say in my head 100 times. And in my mind, the proposal would be the beginning of the next chapter. Instead, it became the night the whole book ripped in half. Because when I picked Amelia up that evening, she looked beautiful. But she also looked distracted, like her mind was somewhere else. Halfway through dinner, I touched my pocket where the ring box was. My heart was pounding. I was ready. Then Amelia cleared her throat and said, "I need to talk to you." I froze. She stared at her plate and said, "I've been thinking a lot about us, and I think we should take a break." A break. The word felt unreal, like I misheard it. I asked, "A break? What do you mean?" She finally looked up, eyes glassy. "I don't know if this is working. I feel like we're drifting. I need time to figure out what I want." I sat there in shock, and then, like she couldn't stop herself, she added, "Liz says we're mismatched. She thinks I'm holding myself back." That's when my stomach dropped. Because it wasn't just stress. It wasn't just work. Liz had climbed into my relationship, sat in the passenger seat, and Amelia was letting her steer. And the ring box in my pocket suddenly felt like a joke. For a few seconds, I couldn't speak. This was the woman I'd loved for almost 10 years. The woman I'd supported, driven hours for, built a future around. And she was taking a break because her coworker thought I wasn't in her league. I took a slow breath, kept my voice steady, and pulled the ring box out of my pocket. I didn't open it. I just held it in my hand. Amelia's eyes widened instantly. "Is that?" "Yeah," I said. "It's the ring." Her mouth opened like she wanted to say something, but no sound came out. I stared at her and said, "I was going to ask you to marry me tonight." She looked like she'd been slapped. I continued, calm but cold. "I was going to spend the rest of my life with you. I thought we were building something real. And you're ending it over dinner with this vague break speech because Liz says we're mismatched." Amelia's eyes filled. "It's not like that." I raised a hand. "No, let me finish." I leaned forward slightly. "I've spent years believing in you, supporting you, building a life where you could chase your dream without worrying about money or rent or groceries. I never asked you to shrink. I never tried to control you." I paused. "And tonight, you proved something important." She whispered, "Please." I shook my head. "You don't deserve this ring." That was the moment she started crying for real. I stood up, put the box back in my pocket, grabbed my jacket, and said, "You want a break? Fine. But don't come back when you realize what you threw away." And I walked out. The drive home felt like I was watching my own life from outside my body. My head kept replaying memories. High school, prom, college weekends, her graduation, our talks about the future. I got home, tossed my keys on the counter, and put the ring box down like it weighed 100 pounds. Then I did what everyone does when they're trying to numb the pain. I opened social media. Worst decision I could have made. The first thing I saw was Liz's Instagram story. It was a party video. Loud music, people dancing, drinks everywhere. At first, I didn't even register anything. Then I saw Amelia. She was there, clearly drunk, draped over some random guy, laughing while he had his arm around her waist like he belonged there. My stomach turned. I watched again, hoping my brain was making it up. Nope. Same scene, same body language, same careless intimacy. And then I noticed something that made my blood run cold. I was tagged. Not publicly. One of those tags where only the tag person gets notified. Like Liz wanted me to see it without anyone else knowing she'd deliver it directly to my chest. It wasn't an accident. It was a message. Look what she's doing. Look how replaceable you are. I put my phone down and stared at the wall, hands shaking. Not even sadness anymore, just pure rage and disbelief. A break apparently meant get drunk and grind on a stranger within hours. Then, not long after, my phone lit up. Amelia was calling. I ignored it. She called again and again. Finally, I answered because curiosity outweighed my self-control. "Hello." Her voice was broken. Please let me explain." I didn't say anything. She rushed. "I didn't know Liz would post that. It was stupid. It meant nothing." I let out a bitter laugh. "A mistake? Amelia, you ended our relationship and then went and wrapped yourself around some random guy the same night. That's not a mistake. That's a choice." "It wasn't like that," she cried. "I was drunk. Liz introduced me." I cut her off. "So now Liz is the villain again?" She sobbed. "She manipulated me." I said, "Maybe she did, but you let her. You listened. You repeated her words to my face. You chose to throw us away." Silence. Then Amelia whispered, "I'm sorry." I felt something in me go numb. "No," I said. "You don't get to do that. You don't get to cry after you burned everything down." And I hung up. I blocked her number. I blocked her socials. I blocked everything. Because I knew if I didn't, I'd get dragged into the cycle of excuses and guilt. The next morning, my phone was full of messages from mutual friends. People asking what happened. People saying Amelia was devastated. I sent one message to my closest circle. "I'm okay. I need space. Please don't involve me." And I tried to move on. But that's not where this story ends. Not even close. Weeks passed. Amelia tried to crawl back in. Long texts. Apologies. "Can we talk?" She'd like old pictures. Comment vague stuff like "missed this day." I ignored it all. Then something happened that had nothing to do with relationships. At least at first. I started feeling off. Exhausted. Dizzy spells. I blame stress. I work with my hands. Long days are normal. But one afternoon I nearly passed out on a job site, and my guys basically forced me to go get checked. Long story short, I needed surgery. Not life-threatening, but serious enough that it scared me. I scheduled it, my friends helped manage the business, and I went in trying to stay calm. The surgery went fine. I woke up groggy, half aware, blinking at the fluorescent lights. My throat was dry. My body felt like it weighed a ton. And then I noticed someone sitting by the bed. At first I thought it was a friend or a family member. But no, it was Liz. I stared at her, thinking my medication was messing with me. She smiled like we were close. "Oh my God," she said softly. "I'm so glad you're okay." I managed to croak out, "What are you doing here?" Liz leaned forward like this was normal. "I heard you were in the hospital. I just had to check on you." Had to? This was the same woman who'd been whispering poison into Amelia's ear for months. Liz started talking like she was rewriting reality in real time. "I feel awful about what happened," she said. "You didn't deserve that. Amelia didn't appreciate you. You're such a good man." And as she spoke, I felt something click. Liz wasn't here because she cared. She was here because she saw an opening. Amelia was gone. The relationship was destroyed. And Liz wanted the prize. She wanted the validation of taking what someone else had. At one point, she reached out and touched my hand. I didn't even pull away, not because I liked it, but because my body barely had the strength to move. And the whole time, I watched her face and realized Liz wasn't blunt. She wasn't honest. She was calculated. She'd spent months destabilizing my relationship, and now she was sitting by my hospital bed pretending to be the supportive one. That night after she left, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every comment Amelia had repeated, every doubt, every criticism, all with Liz's fingerprints on it. And I'll admit something I'm not proud of. For the first time, I didn't just want distance. I wanted Liz exposed. I wanted her to face consequences. When I got discharged, Liz didn't waste time. She started texting constantly, checking in, thinking of you. "You're so strong. I can't believe Amelia let you go." I ignored her at first. Then an idea formed. It was like games. Maybe she deserved to play one where she loses. So I gave her small replies. Nothing romantic, just enough to keep her hopeful. And Liz escalated fast. She started calling me babe in messages. She hinted at hanging out. She implied we had chemistry. And I realized something. Liz wasn't even hiding it anymore. She didn't just want me. She wanted the satisfaction of winning. And I decided, fine. If she wants to show her true colors, I'll let her paint the picture herself. Weeks passed. Amelia tried to crawl back in. Long texts. Apologies. "Can we talk?" She'd like old pictures. Comment vague stuff like "missed this day." I ignored it all. Then something happened that had nothing to do with relationships. At least at first. I started feeling off. Exhausted. Dizzy spells. I blamed stress. I work with my hands. Long days are normal. But one afternoon I nearly passed out on a job site, and my guys basically forced me to go get checked. Long story short, I needed surgery. Not life-threatening, but serious enough that it scared me. I scheduled it, my friends helped manage the business, and I went in trying to stay calm. The surgery went fine. I woke up groggy, half aware, blinking at the fluorescent lights. My throat was dry. My body felt like it weighed a ton. And then I noticed someone sitting by the bed. At first, I thought it was a friend or a family member. But no, it was Liz. I stared at her, thinking my medication was messing with me. She smiled like we were close. "Oh my God," she said softly. "I'm so glad you're okay." I managed to croak out, "What are you doing here?" Liz leaned forward like this was normal. "I heard you were in the hospital. I just had to check on you." Had to? This was the same woman who'd been whispering poison into Amelia's ear for months. Liz started talking like she was rewriting reality in real time. "I feel awful about what happened," she said. "You didn't deserve that. Amelia didn't appreciate you. You're such a good man." And as she spoke, I felt something click. Liz wasn't here because she cared. She was here because she saw an opening. Amelia was gone. The relationship was destroyed. And Liz wanted the prize. She wanted the validation of taking what someone else had. At one point, she reached out and touched my hand. I didn't even pull away, not because I liked it, but because my body barely had the strength to move. And the whole time, I watched her face and realized Liz wasn't blunt. She wasn't honest. She was calculated. She'd spent months destabilizing my relationship, and now she was sitting by my hospital bed pretending to be the supportive one. That night after she left, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every comment Amelia had repeated, every doubt, every criticism, all with Liz's fingerprints on it. And I'll admit something I'm not proud of. For the first time, I didn't just want distance. I wanted Liz exposed. I wanted her to face consequences. When I got discharged, Liz didn't waste time. She started texting constantly, checking in, thinking of you. "You're so strong. I can't believe Amelia let you go." I ignored her at first. Then an idea formed. It was like games. Maybe she deserved to play one where